console wars. This name has been synonymous with gaming since the 1980s, when we had Atari vs. Nintendo. Then we had Nintendo vs. Sega. Then we had PlayStation vs. Nintendo. And then after that, Xbox vs. PlayStation. All these console wars, and still 2020, nothing has changed today. We just had our release of the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Welcome to my non-fanboy comparison between the two systems. Enjoy. Hey guys, welcome to my non-fanboy comparison between the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. I've had the Series X since launch. I got the PlayStation 5 about a week ago, and personally, I love both systems. But obviously there's going to be some things one system does better than the other, as well as some things one system might really need work on while the other is doing fine. Now, for the PlayStation 5 UI, the thing that struck me as unnecessary, and we just spent $500 on a brand new console. We don't need to be advertised the second we turn on the console. It goes directly to this page advertising Black Friday sales, and hopefully this is just a one-time thing, but I feel like we paid full price for our console. We shouldn't be advertised to. If we want advertisements, we can go over to the PlayStation Store. So that is one thing that bothered me about this. It's kind of like when you buy one of those Amazon devices and there's ads on the home screen. I don't like that. The UI itself feels very basic. It feels like it's missing a lot of what the PS4 UI had, which it does what it's supposed to do. You can enter games. It does take some getting used to. Personally, I preferred the PS4 UI. That just might be because I was used to it. Plus, I do miss the custom wallpapers. The PS5 has a wallpaper for each game you go on, but it does not have the custom wallpapers as the PS4 had and the PS3 had. Now, the Xbox UI should be familiar to anybody that's played it in the past, and Xbox One has the same UI. And personally, I prefer that. I have nothing else. I have nothing new to get used to. I already know how to navigate it. So if you want to open a new game, you can always go to your games, look through those. They sort it by which console the games are optimized for. You can even do a search and search for the name of the game you want to play, which is very easy. For jumping back into a game, you can actually do a quick load on any game, up to 5 games you can have running at a time. You just click on it, you get right back into the action with barely any wait time for any 5 games. You can jump back and forth, playing this game, playing Like a Dragon, playing Gears. You could just start back and virtually no loading time at all, and just get right back into the action, which I enjoy because I like this game. I like Yakuza. Two very different types of games. One is a turn-based RPG, one is action. So if I just want to relax and play a game, I prefer playing Yakuza. If I want something more engaging, I play this. But this UI is much more simpler. So when it comes to UI, I'd have to give it to the Series X. So now let's begin my comparison with the controllers. Which controller do I prefer? Well, let's get into it. I've always preferred the Xbox controller to the PlayStation controller. For one thing, the ergonomics of the controller, the way it's bigger, the way you can hold it, and I do prefer the D-pad and the stick placement compared to the PlayStation controller, which the placement of the D-pad and the sticks have not changed in this next generation. So still, the Xbox controller has the D-pad placement in the better location, but in general, which controller is better? The PlayStation 5 made some drastic changes to their controller, whereas the Xbox changed the better D-pad, better grip, and added a share button that the PlayStation 4 had. The PlayStation 5 had bigger upgrades. Not only did they make the controller more shaped like an Xbox controller, which is much larger, fits better in the hand, and is much more comfortable to hold. They've added the feedback vibration into the triggers, which Xbox technically has had since 2013. The big change is going to be the resistance that the triggers now give you, which will come in handy in games. For example, I believe Horizon, the more you pull back on the bow, the more tension that trigger is going to give you, which is going to make immersion into the game much better. So when it comes to controllers, even though I do prefer the stick placement on the Series X controller, I'm going to have to give controllers to the PS5. Now let's talk about one of PlayStation's fanboys' biggest thing that they like to brag about, exclusives. I've read on multiple forums people saying, oh, PS5 has more exclusives, so we have to go with PS5. And that is definitely not true. PlayStation 5 has basically the same amount of exclusives that are exclusive to the PS5 as the Series X. Miles Morales, one of my favorite games on the PS5 right now, it's also on PS4, so technically that's not exclusive to the PS5. Demon's Souls, this is another great game, and one of my favorite games on the PS3. The remake is amazing. It's about a 1-to-1 copy of, from what I've seen so far, of the PS3 version, but it is still not exclusive to the PS5. You can still play the PS3 version if you like, without not as good graphics, not as fast loading time. Amazing game, and it's more enjoyable on the PS5 due to I'm not using that duplication exploit, but you cannot say it's a true exclusive to the PS5. The only true exclusive that I've seen so far is going to be Astro's Playroom. Amazing game, my daughter loves it, and it's free. It comes with the PlayStation 5, which I would have to say is something that the PlayStation 5 has up over the Series X. Now, let's talk about games on the Series X. When it comes to games between the PS5 and the Series X wins this category. Now, I bet you never thought you'd hear someone say that, but check this out. The number of games that have been updated for the Series X on Xbox is amazing, and they don't even charge you for that upgrade. Sony's Spider-Man Remastered, you have to buy the game a second time, even though you already own it, just to get the PS5 upgrade, which is ridiculous. Why are you going to force people to buy a game twice from you just to be able to play it at a faster frame rate or see a new face on Peter Parker? It's ridiculous. Another thing that Series X has over the PS5 is obviously Game Pass. You have over hundreds of games to play, and there's a lot of good games in here. One of the main things I prefer about the games on the Series X over the PS5 is you can play a game on your Series X. Let's say your wife comes down and says, I need to use the TV. So let's say, for example, Like a Dragon. I bought Like a Dragon on the day of release, boot up my computer one day, and guess what? It's right there in my Microsoft Store saying, you have a new download. Would you like to download it? So I'm like, yes, definitely. I can jump back and forth between Like a Dragon on my TV and my computer. So if my wife goes, let me use the TV, I'm like, okay, continue playing on the computer. Best thing ever. And hopefully one day, PlayStation 5 starts releasing their games on the computer. That way you can jump back and forth. But they really have a problem with save game files. It's too much of a hassle, even going from PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 when it comes to the Spider-Man game. In order to upload your file to PlayStation 5 Spider-Man, you have to upload it from the PS4 and then download it again on the PS5. With Xbox, you open the game, it automatically transfers the save file. You don't have to do anything. So when it comes to games and save files, Xbox has this. Now let's talk about what most fanboys like to argue about. PlayStation 5 has a faster SSD. That's fact. Xbox Series X has more teraflops. Another fact. Does it make a difference? PlayStation 5, games load 2 seconds faster. Xbox Series X, you might get full 4K or you might get 60 frames per second instead of 55 or whatever, just guesstimating on this one compared to the PlayStation 5. Does that really matter? If you're not playing both systems at the same time right next to each other, will the average person notice a difference? Absolutely not. That is ridiculous to argue about such minuscule differences between the two systems. They are essentially the same exact thing. So whether you are a PS5 fan or an Xbox fan, you will get the same enjoyment out of both systems compared to your counterpart. So those arguments, they're just annoying at this moment. Get whichever system you prefer. Personally, if I had to choose just one, I love having both. PS5 has its benefits. It has great exclusives. You got the Demon Souls, Spider-Man, Astro Playroom, Sackboy, which my daughter loves playing. Xbox Series X, my favorite thing about this system is being able to jump back and forth between my PC and my Xbox and access to Game Pass. They both have their benefits. To say one is better than the other, you can't really do. Soon, Xbox will have just about the same or more exclusives than the PS5 due to their acquisition of Bethesda, which has not been finalized yet. But a company's not going to spend $7 billion to buy a publisher and not make games exclusive. So you can trust me, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, they're going to be exclusives. They're not going to put their biggest hitters on the PlayStation 5. This is why it's good to have both systems. You get the best of both worlds. But if I had to choose just one, I would go with the Series X because I am a PC gamer and I love being able to jump back and forth. It is the most convenient thing. They make it so easy with the save file going back and forth that I couldn't pass this up. But I love the Souls games. Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, amazing games, and I had to pick up a PlayStation 5 to be able to play the new Demon Souls remake. In the end, it's your decision. Either way, you are going to be happy with the system you get. Another thing I don't like about the PlayStation 5, PlayStation is raising their prices to $70 a game. They make the argument that games are more expensive to make, but yet they put in loot boxes, they put in purchasing of skins and stuff. They're making their money. They don't need to raise it to $70 a game. If they want to do that, take out the loot boxes, take out the extra purchases, like Demon Souls. Fine, but this is a remake. Does it really need to cost $70? That is up to you. If we stop purchasing games at $70, the price will come down. Just like if people stop buying scalped PlayStation 5s, scalped NVIDIA 3090s, the price and the availability of those devices will drop. Nobody's gonna scalp, buy hundreds of them if they can't sell them. So stop purchasing scalp things and it'll be easier for people to get. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed my comparison video between the Series X and the PlayStation 5. I love both systems. I'm not a fanboy of either. I prefer some things from one device and others from the other device. Thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you next time. You guys have a great day.